Hello friends, welcome to this series of tutorials on AWS. In the last session, we basically saw how to launch a Windows instance. Previously, we had worked with Amazon Linux AMI, wherein we created an elastic load balancers with two instances that were based on Amazon Linux. And we also had worked with Ubuntu instances in almost all of our tutorials. So we were left with one of the instances that was Windows instance. Of course, there are many instances are available. So till now we basically we didn't cover how to launch a Windows instance, so that's why we prepared a video on that. And again, a highlight of that was, first of all, we created a Windows instance. Then to create password for your Windows instance, you have to provide your PEM file, which is given to us by AWS, and it takes approximately 4 minutes. And after the instance setup, and then you'll be able to get your password and you can log into your Windows instance. So that was all about our Windows instance, or basically how to launch a Windows instance using AWS. So in this series of tutorial, or in this session, I would say in this session and subsequent 2 or 3 sessions, we will be working on analytics and cluster. So if you have heard about one of the booming technologies which is going right now is big data, or the analytics market is going really up. So with big data, we can analyze huge amounts of data in petabytes and or in zettabytes. So, and we have various technologies under big data. So we have Hadoop, in which we can write MapReduce programs. Then we also have high level languages, that is Hive, which is based on SQL syntax, and it uses HiveQL, Hive query language, in which we can write Hive like queries to perform analysis on our data. And then we also have Pig, in which we can use Pig Latin scripting for our data analysis, and there are many technologies which we can use. So for big data, we have to set up a cluster, okay? And cluster is basically a combination of nodes, and in Hadoop 1 we have a master node and we have slave nodes. Master node basically has the responsibility of job delegation, keeping track of all the jobs, scheduling, and there are various other activities. And data nodes will basically store the data. So if you want to read any information about this, you can simply Google it. Google is the best source of information. So for that cluster management, we have a service available with the help of AWS that is called as Elastic MapReduce. So the advantage of Elastic MapReduce is that we do not have to worry about the underlying cluster. The underlying cluster will be prepared and given to us by this service, that is Elastic MapReduce. You just have to choose the number of nodes you want in your cluster, and EMR will basically set it up for us. So we don't have to bear the overhead of creating the cluster. We just can focus on our use case and the analytics that we want to perform according to our use case. So in this session, we will basically be working on this EMR service. And again, this EMR provides two distributions. One is that Amazon EMR. We can use, Amazon has its own distribution, that is Amazon EMR, and it also supports MapR. So two distribution is currently supported under EMR. And if you want to have some other distribution, let's say you want to have your cluster which is on CDH or it's on HDP, then don't worry about that. We will also be creating a cluster on CDH. So in EMR, basically the cluster is created using EC2 instances. EC2 instances, all of you are pretty familiar about by now. So the cluster is created with the help of EC2 instances, and we can launch our jobs on top of that cluster. Okay. So in this session, we will be covering this EMR, and then in subsequent sessions, we will try to set up a CDH cluster using AWS. So let's get started with this. First of all, this is our Amazon console page. AWS services, you can come down under analytics, you will find EMR. We will click it. Okay, so this is the existing cluster, and if you want to clone it, this is the cluster that we have right now. If you want to clone an existing cluster, you can select it and clone, but for this tutorial we'll be creating a separate new cluster. So we'll say create cluster. You can give cluster a name. We'll say Amazon cluster, and herein it asks for a S3 folder. So by default, it'll use this folder AWS logs, and some random number is there, then US East 1. So right now we are in region US East 1, that is North Virginia. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll create our own S3 bucket. So let's do that. We'll expand services. Let's go to S3. We'll open it at new tab. Okay, so now let's create a new tab. We'll give it a name. Let's give it CBA cluster. Okay, select the region. So we will choose region as US East, North Virginia. So one more point that, and this is probably one of the most important points. So your Amazon cluster or EMR, okay, and your bucket should be in same region. So right now, if you see, we have North Virginia as a region selected. We'll be creating this cluster inside North Virginia, that is US East 1. So our buckets should also be in North Virginia, and this is US East 1. So the bucket name is CBA cluster. We'll use this bucket only, CBA cluster. Say next. We'll just keep saying next, create bucket. So our bucket is created, CBA cluster. We will just replace this name with the bucket which we created, CBA cluster, and elastic map. So launch mode is cluster only. And then again, as we discussed, so right now two vendors are there. One is Amazon and next is EMR, which are supported. MapR, which are supported by EMR currently. So we'll be sticking to Amazon only, and the release is 5.4.0. And applications, you can see whatever you want. Right now it will consist of core Hadoop with Hadoop 273, and then it has other high level languages also, that is Hive and Pig. It also has support for Tez. Okay, and if you want to configure these, you can go to advanced options. Okay, so right now what we saw earlier as well, we can see it up here, Hadoop 273, and then we have Pig 0.16.0. we have Hue also available in this, and the version is 3.11.0. Similarly, we also have Hive available here. So if you want to add support of Scoop, let's say Scoop, or you want to add Uzi for scheduling your jobs, you can add that support also. Okay, so we won't be changing any of this right now. So we'll go back to quick options. Okay, our bucket name is gone, so we'll paste it again, CBA cluster. Okay, cool. So now we have this cluster release. We'll be choosing the 5.4.0 version. This will be staying as it is. Hardware configuration we have to choose. Let's choose M1.medium. Number of instances will be 3. We'll basically create 3 node cluster. In that, 1 will be master and 2 will be your core nodes. Okay. EC2 key pair. So you can also proceed without any EC2 key pair, but if you will do that, you will not be able to use SSH. So we'll be selecting our existing key val pair, which is available. Permissions default. We will not change any of these options. Okay, so let me go ahead and create the cluster. Okay, so now right now it says the cluster is being created. I think we did not change the name after going back. Okay, so let the name be my cluster only. So it says starting, so it will take some time to start up the cluster, and once it starts, we will try to execute a simple job on this cluster. Okay, so now it says terminating. The requested instance m1.medium is not supported in your availability zone. Okay, this is my cluster. Go to hardware. It says master instance one requested, not available for master. Expand it. Job flow terminated. Job flow terminated. Okay, let's go back. Cluster list. We can quickly create a new cluster. We can change the name also. We'll say Amazon cluster S3 management console. Let me create a bucket for this also. Amazon CBA cluster. We'll choose the region as US East, North Virginia. Say next. Create bucket. Bucket is created. Okay. So now we have to place the name as well. So 3 will stick to m3.xlarge. Okay, let it be. EC2 key pair will be key val. I think rest of the options will stay as it is. So we'll say create cluster. So Amazon cluster is being starting, and right now the status is starting. So let's wait for some time to, I think this time this will surely get enabled. So what we'll do is we'll just pause the video for some time, and once our status is up, cluster status is up and running, we'll reconnect the session. So I'm gonna pause it.